Hey everyone, Griff Hamlin here from Blues Guitar Unleashed. Welcome and thanks for joining me today. In this video, I want to talk about what I call sort of reverse engineering a lick. And we're going to take a very simple idea, but we're going to figure out based on the beats and how many beats I need to fill in order to land where I want to land, how I'm going to work through a very simple process of just going through the minor blues scale until I arrive at my destination. It's a little bit like a GPS for your blues soloing, I guess. So what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be playing a slow blues in A. And of course, you have to pick some spot where there's a chord change. What this really works out for is when we want to play a lick that lands right on a chord tone beautifully, right? Which is always a nice thing to do. We want to just land very nicely. When that new chord comes along, we're going to land on the chord tone. The third is a great place. It's very common in blues. So I'm going to be going from the 4 chord, the D9. In bar 6, we play the D9, and then of course at the start of bar 7, we're back to our 1 chord, our A. So what I want to do is I want to start something in bar 6, not on beat 1, as you may remember, we never want to start on beat 1. But when I come on the downbeat of bar 7, when that chord happens, I want to land on that note, the 3rd. Right? Could be there. I'm choosing that one because I'm gonna kind of walk my way down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of calculate based on what beat do I want to start on, which note am I going to have to use from my scale as my starting point, okay? So I'm basically going to kind of work backwards to put this lick together, all right? So if you think about the fact that I want to land right here at beat 1, so I want to walk down through the minor box 1. Okay, now in the previous bar, I don't want to start on beat 1. So 1 and is probably a good place. I'm going to start on the So 1 and I'm just going to choose. I'm going to make a guess that I'm going to start right here at the root. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. That doesn't get me to where I want to go. Okay, I'm not there. I wanted to be here. I wanted to land on that note. Okay, so that isn't going to do the job, right? So that's not going to work out. If I were to start at the very top note, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. That's even worse. That's not gonna work out at all. Now, maybe you might think, okay, well, I don't want to use the blue notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Perfect. Okay, that would work. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Right? That would work perfectly. But I do really want to use the blue notes. So in order to do that, so that note didn't work, that note didn't work, and in fact it was worse. So I'm going to go to this one. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. That's exactly what I want. And of course, where you go from there, you know, that's totally up to you. But the whole idea here is just to give you a way to sort of calculate, okay, if I want to start on this beat, and this is where I want to end up, here's the scale I can work through. Now, maybe you don't want to play the scale just note after note after note after note. Maybe you want to mix and match. Great. Get to where you can do the scale by itself first, and you can sort of calculate that out and make that work. And then you can mess with it. Then you can mess it up. This is, you know, and it might seem like, oh, well, that's kind of a lot of trouble. This is really just, you know, something kind of fun to do. You know, you think about any little spot in a blues, and you come up with a little idea that fits there. and you try it out and you play it for a while, and pretty soon it becomes part of your vocabulary, and you do it quite naturally, okay? And that's when your soloing starts to sound better, because these are things that you naturally say because you've done them before many times. So when you're at home and you're playing and you've got a track, even without a track, actually turn off the track first and think about, okay, well, where's a chord change in a blues? And if I were to start in the measure before going down or up my scale, where would I have to start in order to end up at just the right spot? And after a little while, if you do that, you'll start to get where it becomes a little bit more natural. And you hear players often that can just sort of fly through stuff and somehow magically end up on that right note. Well, this is why. This is what they spent time doing to make that work out, okay? And because it does become a natural process. It takes some time, yes, but it will eventually become a natural process. So I hope that gives you some ideas and something to experiment with. Just try these out. Try to come up with some little ideas, 1 bar long, a little bit less actually, because you don't want to start on beat 1. But you can start before beat 1. Just whatever spot you want, as long as it's not beat 1. Trust me, it'll sound better. Okay, so I hope you got something out of this video. Try it out for yourself. See if you dig it. If you do, share it with a friend. And I look forward to seeing you again real soon in the next video. Take care.